In this video I want to show you how to remove the injectors and replace the sealing from this Mercedes E-Class with a diesel engine. On the tip of the injector you can see this surface. On that surface this copper sealing will sit and it will insulate the combustion chamber inside the cylinder and not allow any gases to escape. Therefore, if this seal fails to insulate the combustion chamber with the exterior, then you're gonna see a lot of carbon build up around this area, and in the worst situation the car will not start because it will lose compression. Now, before even thinking about doing this job, you're gonna need at least this part, which is gonna fit on the injector, and the slide hammer, which connects up here, and then you're gonna be able to remove the injector, hopefully. Another special tool which you might need is a long pick. I made this out of a bike spoke. I just bend it at the end and just grind it a little bit so it can catch on this seal and retrieve it from the cylinder. So let's see how to remove the injectors. First, let's remove the seal clip which holds on the return line for the fuel. Try to not lose it since it can easily bounce out. So you could see if you don't hold it properly, this thing will fly, so take care of it. Once the seal clips are out, let's pry out the line. For that you can use any sort of plier you have. Just pull the line out. Next, it's a good idea, before you remove the injectors, blow with some pressure air in this area, especially if you have carbon buildup. Try to clean it as much as possible. And I believe that if you have the right tools, cleaning this area is going to be the most difficult part, because you need to go inside the hole as well, depending on the situation you have. So it will be very helpful if you have a vacuum cleaner to remove all these particles from there. Then with a 40mm wrench you gotta remove these fuel lines. You gotta disconnect them from the fuel rail as well. Now if you plan to reuse these lines, put them in a very clean place. Also, it's a good idea to cover these portholes through which the fuel will run, because as you can see on the injector itself, the holes through which the fuel will run into the cylinder to be combusted are very small. You can actually not see them on the camera. You can barely see them with the open eye if you have good eyes. So as you can see, small actions like this can save you a lot of money in the long term. Next step, with the T40, you've got a bolt down here which holds this arm and presses the injector on. It's very important that you do not round up these bolts, because it's going to be extremely difficult to remove them. Try to remove them properly. Make sure that you've got a good connection in there and you use a good quality bit. The bolt is up. Now let's retrieve this arm as well. Now let's say you don't have this special tool which can extract the injector from there. You can try and improvise with a 40mm wrench. You gotta bend this side and then you can grind up a little bit on the sides until it can go on the injector. As you can see, this is the position of the injector. So once you put your wrench in there, you can try to twist it and hopefully you can remove it that way, because once you twist the injector in there, it's going to be a lot easier to be removed. But this technique is not guaranteed and it might not work. So buying the right tool sometimes is the best thing to do, because then you got the tool for the rest of your life. As you can see, you can use a 24mm wrench and you're going to be able to twist a little bit the injector. However, this technique is not so safe because the injector is long, and as you can see, the end of the injector will sit inside the engine, and this is the point where it gets stuck usually, since it's the most stress, the most heat, and therefore if you apply the twisting force at this point, you have big chances to rip off, to break the injector, especially if it's rusted or damaged already. And therefore you end up with a piece of the injector stuck into the engine, and definitely you don't want to do that. It's not the same as you apply the force from this point and up. This is just something to consider if you try to remove the injector. You gotta remove this oil separator actually. Now it's all about getting the slide hammer on. Just tight it in there. Alright, so make sure that the threads are all the way in. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so you'll have to help a little bit this tool to go under the injector. It's very important to remember the order of the injectors from cylinder 1 to cylinder 4 so you can install them back in the same position. Now if you look inside the holes, you can see the seal. On this one I already removed it. Okay, and you can also see the debris which went into the cylinder. And I've done this in purpose so you can see what will happen if you don't clean properly. Now it's gonna be almost impossible to remove those debris from the cylinder unless you have some sort of vacuum which has an adapter to fit inside that small hole. You can see the seal down there. Most of the time that seal is gonna be stuck, so in order to remove it, with a flathead screwdriver you can crack it open like that and it's gonna be a lot easier to be removed. However, make sure that you do not smash into the engine head because that's not gonna be easy to repair and that will create an extra leak in the future. So make sure that you smash just a little bit so that the washer can come out, this seal will come out. I will just easily slide on the wall of the hole and you will reach an indentation. Jump over that first indentation and you're gonna get to the second indentation, and that's the position where the seal sits. Make sure that you know the position of your screwdriver first and tap it a couple of times like that and the seal should come out as well. With a small flashlight or something that you have. Okay, so once I insert my small extractor, I should be able to take out the seal. Okay, you can see the seal moving in there, and that's how you take it out. First one I smashed it a little bit too much, but for the second one was perfect, was enough. Here it comes. Finally, the last seal is out as well. For this one I struggle a little bit. Alright, so next, assuming that you clean very well the area, install back the injectors. So make sure that the seal is already in the hole, sitting nice and tight in there. Now this piece, which looks like a rocker arm, it will sit on a ball, which you can find it down there. And insert the bolt. Once the bolts are on all the injectors, torque them down to 7 Newton meters first, and then proceed to tighten them to 90 degrees. So let's say you start from this point, tighten it until here. Okay, start from this point and end up here. Okay guys, so that was pretty much it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and check out the other videos I made about this car. Also, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below as well. What you would like to see about this car or in the future in general. the most requested videos are gonna be prioritized, and hopefully I can make all of them at the end of the live. So stay tuned and I will see you soon.